It's funny how a kind of a love story can save a city. Hello, welcome on Laughinmuseums. My name is Cedric and you are watching Laughinmuseums, which is telling you art history in museums. But today I'm just right here in the center of Paris telling you about my favorite fountain ever, which is the FontaineSaint-Michel. It is 8:30, so all the Parisians are going to work. Just a little word about that fountain. I love it. I'm with so many people here. I live in the street just around the corner for like 5 years. So I really love that place. Okay, Saint-Michel is kind of a classic. It's a figure of the saint that is saving Parisians from evil. This is a fountain made during the Second Empire under Napoleon III, and it's supposed to represent the power, like kind of protecting you. And just on top of it, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 statues which are representing what we call the cardinal virtues, right? There's a little memory trick in French to remember that. Pour Jésus fait tout, which I'm going to translate here. Pour, power. Jesus, justice. F is force, right? And finally, T is temperance or balance, right? Ironically enough, there's 4 statues. A lot of police today as well. But that's okay. That's cool. We shoot even when the police is here. Trying to protect that a little bit, but that's okay. That's Paris, that's a noisy city, and that's how we like it. At least that's how I like it. I prefer without the sirens, to be honest with you, but big cities have a lot of police, that's how it is, right? So these 4 statues right there really interest me. Why? Because one of them was made after a singer, a little opera singer, that singer to be specific, which happened to be a mistress of the Emperor Napoleon III. When the Germans arrived in Paris during World War II, they occupied most of the palaces in Paris, including the Meurice on Rue de Rivoli. And at one point, there was the Swedish Ambassador, right, that's him right here, right, who decided to help the country before the Nazi decided to blow up the city. We found C4 everywhere, right here on the city island, right behind the island is there. We found C4 under Notre Dame, C4 under the Hotel de Ville, stuff like that, right? And because this Swedish ambassador knew that plan, he decided to help the city of Paris, and he went to see the general in charge. That general in charge, that's him right here, already fought in World War I, so he was really serving his country. There's no way he's going to turn his mind. But what happened is because that mistress of Napoleon III, Napoleon III couldn't see her in plain sight, so he had built a secret staircase to a secret apartment, which was the biggest suite inside the Meurice Palace. So the Swedish ambassador used that secret suite to get to the bureau on I forgot the name of him right there. What interests me there is, like, when you arrive, there's a whole play about it called Diplomacy that became a movie that made about it. You can check it out. I'm pretty sure it's very good. I haven't seen the movie, but the play was really fantastic, and it's with the same actors. What happened here is that because of that secret passage, he could get straight to the office of the general who were in charge of the destiny of Paris, which was about to be destroyed. The plan was to explode the banks of the River Seine, which is right behind me, and to flood the city. You know, the River Seine is very dangerous still today. What happened here is, of course, the general arrived and he said, "What you doing in my office?" And he took a gun and said, "I can shoot you right now." And the ambassador say, which was a diplomat, he said, "Well, that's what diplomats do. We take risk and eventually we can get killed doing it." And finally they talk about it, and the diplomat told him, "Okay, what about if I take your wife and kids and I put them in safety in Switzerland?" And the Germans say, "Well, you can't do that because we block everything." He say, "No, we've been doing it the entire war, just you didn't know about it." And so they finally arrived to an agreement to save his wife and 3 or 4 kids safely to Switzerland. The next morning, they make a phone call, everybody's safe in Switzerland, and they decide to not destroy Paris. Ergo, the famous question of Adolf Hitler, is Paris burning? And of course, Paris was saved because this general was a lover of Paris. I don't know if you know, but during the war, the plans of the Germans at one point was to move the capital of Berlin a little bit to Paris and move a little bit of the fashion of Paris to Berlin to make kind of a double capital empire, stuff like that, right? And the plan of destroying Paris was just because of the retreat, and the defeat has been like this till the origin of civilization. So that's not any specific to any war per se. I always analyze wars through the scope of all the wars, so you won't be like, oh, this war was awful, stuff like that. Really try to compare the wars in other history and all the empires together. That's why I love that little story, because Paris was really saved because of that girl right there and that little secret passage that was built here. So thanks to her and thanks to Napoleon III for being a little bit of a kinky dude on this one. My name is Cedric. That was a YouTube of Laughinmuseums. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and no matter what you do, don't forget, if you're not doing it with a smile, well, you're doing it wrong.